I do my best to give people the benefit of doubt and not accuse them of lying when they say something demonstrably false if there is a realistic chance it was an honest mistake. In this video, I will explain why I am convinced Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is intentionally lying rather than just being mistaken in comments she has repeatedly made about Real ID. I am Dr. John Padfield, an engineer turned state representative turned business professor, and this is Business Reform, where we discuss issues at the intersection of business, technology, and society. If you want to support my work in creating sponsor-free content like this, I invite you to buy me a coffee using this QR code or the link in the description. On April 11, 2025, Secretary Kristi Noem posted this video on her official X account.
Hi, I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a Real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a Real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States.
Let me repeat that last part. She claimed, quote, starting May 7th, you will need a Real ID to travel by air or to visit a federal building in the United States. 3 days later, on April 14, 2025, she continued claiming that as of May 7th, Real ID is required for people to fly in the United States. However, 3 weeks later, on May 6, 2025, when she was answering questions under oath during a congressional committee hearing, she said this.
We will be honoring passports, other federally recognized IDs, tribal IDs will be recognized.
That answer is the truth. According to TSA's own website, the new national ID card known as Real ID is just one of 16 different documents, such as a U.S. passport, a permanent resident card, enhanced tribal cards, or a veteran health identification card that a person can use to board a plane in the United States. As always, links to all my sources can be found in the description of this video. I could be generous and give her the benefit of doubt that she was simply mistaken when she told the public Real ID was required to fly, and possibly she learned the truth about the other 15 acceptable forms of identification before testifying to Congress. But just 1 day after telling the truth under oath to a congressional committee, she again posted a lie on her official X account by claiming you need a Real ID to fly. I can't read minds, so I don't know for sure why she is lying to the public about needing a Real ID to fly, but I believe the answer can be found in Section 201 of the Real ID Act, which states the official purpose of the Real ID, quote, includes but is not limited to accessing federal facilities, boarding federally regulated commercial aircraft, entering nuclear power plants, and any other purpose the Secretary shall determine. And just to be clear, the term Secretary means the Secretary of Homeland Security. So once everyone has their national ID card, Congress has already given Secretary Noem the authority to require people to show or use their national ID card for any purpose she determines. And what are some of the potential purposes where she might decide to require us to use our national ID cards? Let's start with the most obvious. 23 U.S. states have already implemented age verification requirements for accessing adult content on the Internet, and by a 6-3 decision, the U.S. Supreme Court has already upheld the Texas law. If you think these laws won't impact you because you don't access adult websites, you might want to pay attention to what's going on right now in the United Kingdom. In 2023, the UK passed a similar law that went into effect in July 2025. That law, called the Online Safety Act, was supposedly about protecting children from harmful content, but it is now causing social media posts showing clashes between rioters and police to be suppressed, and it has given the government, quote, far greater control over what can and can't be viewed online. Because the term harmful content is so vague and the penalties for websites who do not prevent children from viewing it are so severe, many websites are either requiring age verification to access any content, or they are removing anything that could remotely be deemed harmful to children, such as political debate on certain topics and video of violent protest. Online age verification is a very serious and sensitive topic worthy of a much deeper discussion than I have time for in this video. In October, I will post a video of an interview I have scheduled with a doctoral student at Purdue University who is doing dissertation research related to online and in-person age verification and identification. The bottom line is age verification using Real ID could easily become a requirement to access a lot more than adult content on the internet. And as women who use the dating app T learned earlier this month, when you upload your government-issued ID to a website, there is no guarantee it will be secure. What else could Secretary Noem decide to require us to show our Real ID for? Opening a bank account comes to mind, along with renting a car, booking a hotel stay, or buying a cell phone. Basically, any activity that requires companies to comply with Know Your Customer laws could require Real ID if Secretary Noem says so, because Congress has already delegated the power to her to make the rules of where Real ID must be used. You may be wondering what is the big deal about Real ID since the vast majority of people already carry a state-issued identification card such as a driver's license. There are three significant differences. First, even though this card is being issued by the states, it is a national ID card. And this is the first time the United States has ever required civilians to carry a national ID card. Second, this card uses biometrics to ensure the card belongs to the person using it. Secretary Noem has assured us this is to keep bad guys off planes, even though had this law been in effect in 2001, it would not have kept a single perpetrator off those 4 planes, because they all boarded the planes under their real names. Third, plans are already underway to transition Real ID from a physical card to a mobile driver's license, which is, quote, a digital representation of a physical driver's license and are typically accessed via an app installed on a smartphone. I seem to recall another government-issued ID a few years ago that people were required to show if they wanted to eat in a restaurant, attend a sporting event, or take public transportation. But I am sure Real ID would never be used to limit people's movements or to enforce curfews or lockdowns. This is America, and we don't do things like that except for, well, never mind. Secretary Noem may at some point give us her word that she will never require Real ID for these types of purposes. But I think all of her false statements I shared at the beginning of this video may cast doubt on what those assurances would be worth. And even if she doesn't require Real ID for attending a sporting event, no one knows who the next Secretary of Homeland Security will be in 2029 and what additional purposes they may find for Real ID. Where do you think all of this is going? What do you think Secretary Noem or the next DHS Secretary will require Real ID to be used for? I can't wait to read your comments. I have several videos in the works that I will be posting over the next few weeks, including product reviews of Zenni infrared blocking glasses, the Above privacy phone, and bug detectors for finding hidden cameras and microphones in a room. I also have free live events scheduled on Friday, August 1st in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and on Monday, August 4th in Salt Lake City, Utah. Visit brushfirestour.com for more details on these and other upcoming events. My goal is to make privacy normal again. Thank you for joining me in this endeavor, and thank you for watching.